So I need to sort out the throttle cable. I wasn't particularly happy with the cheapo throttle grip system that I bought, a V2 lock-on. So I've bought a better one, and I've bought some throttle cables, and hopefully they'll work. Let's give it a look. So this is what I had bought, a V2 lock-on system. So basically it's just a throttle control tube and a bunch of clip-ons. Instead of doing it that way, I have bought a domino. Okay, it's a similar system. It's only got one type, which is fine because that's the type that I'm using. It's sort of like these ball ends, or they're flattened ball ends, so that works. But it's got an integrated, I don't know what you call this, housing, and this clamps down onto the control and prevents it from moving around. So it hides the cable and pushes the cable neatly out of that. So I want to give that a go and see if that works a bit better today. And then also I bought a few things to support that. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, so these are registration plate holders. They're quite cool. We'll look at those later. They're a nice way of hiding things. I've got these are the original cables and the initial one that I bought. So let me just show you. So the original BMW cable has this on the one end. All right, that goes into the actual throttle control unit. Down by the engine, and then on the other side it's got this little thing over here, which, to be fair, that works for BMW, but most bikes use that. I can't really focus on it, but for that little method is primarily used for carbureted bikes. Okay, a new one. It's lovely, it works well, it's very smooth, but then on the other side it's got absolutely nothing. So you need a crimping tool or a soldering iron or something to put the other side on. Let's have a look. So that's not the cheap cable that I bought. That is just some rear indicators. I bought that one. Oh no, that's a choke lever. Just in case my other choke lever doesn't really work well, I bought a manual one. Back to the real business. There is one of them. Oh, I bought an ignition switch as well. Get to that later. So I bought 3 cables, just in case, of slightly different lengths, but also slightly different methods of working. Right, it's got this 6mm flattened ball end on the one side, and it's got the same thing on the other side, and it's lovely and smooth. I also got this. I don't really know why I got another one. Just kind of like just have other options. I also got brackets for the headlight. They were supposed to be black, they've come silver. I'm actually not too stressed about that. I think they're okay. They offered to send me black ones back. Instead, I've decided just to keep them. I have got, typical me, I tend to buy the same thing twice from different distributors. So I've got a black one coming from somewhere else anyway, so we'll see when they arrive. But that looks pretty cool. I'm quite happy with the look of that. Now the question is, do I want a cowl? You know, a cowl that goes over and down. Something else to think about. There's a few available nearby. We shall see. Okay, so there's a bush thing that goes in there, and then this is how you tighten it, apparently. So, yep, that goes in like so. Okay, so we put some silicone grease in there, just a little bit. Okay, yeah, so the other cable is better because it's got a thread, alright? So I'm just gonna thread it like that just for the time being. Get it back on, like so. So I've been a little bit unlucky with the first cable. It's about this much too tight. So I've stretched the cable out and adjusted it for as long as it can go. And yeah, it's not going full back to full idle. It's about this much too high. Let me show you. That'll explain what I mean. So here's everything on, and you'll see it works quite well. I pull back, let go. All right, and I'm getting pretty much excellent throw over here. So it's all been put in. And if I pull, you'll see it work. There you go. So I'm getting to full throttle. But when I let go, okay, it's not going all the way down. You'll see there's a little bit of a gap. See there? So actually it's even less than a centimeter's worth of gap. So it needs to go all the way down. And it doesn't matter how much I've lengthened the cable, it won't do it. So I'm going to try another cable. Okay, success. I tried the other cable, but the geometry was wrong. You know, it had strange things on the ends that didn't really fit. So I was thinking, and I thought, well, why don't I just shorten and cut off like 1 centimeter of the metal tubing at the one end? Because that'll allow me to get the cable 1 centimeter closer to the throttle body. So I did that. I took a drill and I drilled and I sort of took off about this much. I took it off over here. Let me see if I can get my torch. Okay, so in there, don't know if you can see. So I chopped off 1 centimeter of this tube here. All right, so it gets closer to the throttle place where it holds it. Now, I'm not sure that that's a very good way of doing it, because it really should be seated in there and it should be flat and straight. So it is a temporary thing, but I have tightened it up and it does hold. It's not going anywhere. And when I pull on the clutch, it gets full travel, both directions, top and bottom. So here you go. And then over here, it goes to the stops on both sides. Let's have a quick look. There you go. That's full. And that's full down. So it worked. My little game worked. I'm very pleased. Anyway, it's good enough for now. It's good enough for testing and run-ups. I think when I'm finished the bike and it is actually running, I will take it in and get cables properly made, just so that this end is not a little bit dodged. You see, it can move around. It doesn't seat inside that thing properly. However, the fact that I'm going underneath this inlet over here means it won't ever pop off, which is the one thing you'd be worrying about. Right. So what's next? You would have noticed that in order for me to get the throttle cable in, I had to actually remove the airbox again. Took the whole thing out, which was a pain in the ass, including the filter. But the reason I wasn't too fussed about doing that is because, sort of randomly out of the blue, one of the guys that watches the channel, I mean, I don't have a lot of people watching the channel, like a couple of hundred, and I'm not really advertising it, so it's sort of grown organically, but some people obviously enjoy it, and one guy, and you know who you are, I'll do a whole big thing on it shortly, said that he saw me struggling with this, what do you call it, airbox sort of situation, and wondering where I'm going to put things. And he offered to 3D print me an adapter that will allow me to take out the contents of the box here and put it up over here and go straight out. And then instead of having this big air filter and the air coming through here, just put on, like, you know, a standard pod filter like my Harley's got. So although you can't see my Harley's, it's underneath this cover. Underneath there's a pod filter, and that cleans up the look a lot. So I don't need this box anymore. It'll all come out over here. I've ordered a special reducing tube. You put the contents of this thing over here, and you put a filter there. And you can even angle it forward. So here I actually went and bought the filter so long just to have a look at it. Tiny little thing, and so maybe I'll need a bigger one. I don't know. Maybe I'll need a curved one. I don't know. But this will be a proxy for the time being. And effectively, it'll just sit sort of here, like that. Okay. And that means I might have a problem fitting my sort of air reservoir, so I've bought a nice little heavy duty remote reservoir there, but I'll see how that goes. But this will fit over there, which means this is completely empty. All right, and I can throw away this air filter. So I've got all of this volume inside this box that I can put things in, which obviously makes me get excited because I can put all of these injector control units and all of these other boxes that are lying around that I was trying to figure out where to put them under the seat or in here or drop them. I might even be able to fit a battery in here. I still think I'll put the battery there because I can lay it on its side and it's low enough, but I can put all my electronics in here, including my Tenex. So that is really cool, really cool. So he also graciously printed a special cover that'll cover the hole over here, and it'll cover the hole over there. And then around here, he's also thrown in a nice injector rail cover, which will clean up that look quite nicely. And I'll put the original cover over the coils here. And I've just bought that little key switch, so I'll put the key switch in there, which means I've got my start over here, plus the choke. So I'll have the choke and the key switch there probably. Take them off here, which I don't really like them up there. And that's going to clean the bike up enormously. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the stuff come. He paid shipping, he paid for everything. I think all he wanted from me was to pay for the shipping, which is fantastic. So thank you very much. And I will show you the gear when it arrives. It's going to be a couple of days and then we can get cracking. That will really solve a whole bunch of problems about where to put things that I've been worried about. So thank you. One other thing that I've done, which is pretty cool, quite fun, is I put the headlight on. There it is. I think I pointed that out earlier. I just wanted to see if it works. So I'm just going to connect it up and see what it does. It's LED, right? So this, I've not had that before. Well, that's not true. I've got it on my Ninja, but I put that on my pack. So let's see how this works. This is going to be cool. Okay. Whoa. So there we go. It works. Look at that. But I don't know that that's... Okay. So what is that? Let's just turn the lights off and see. That's not terribly bright. I think that might be daylight running lights. Let's just see how I would put on brights. So I'll just put that over there, over there. I'm assuming, okay, there we go. So that's daylight running lights. Okay, that is standard. And then I think to put on bright, cool, very cool. Okay, so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to actually insulate the bottom of the fuel tank. I'm just taking off some of the heat shield and some of the sound dampening, I think it is. So I'm going to tear all of this off and put the rubber that I've ordered and the heat shield tape that I've ordered to try and mock up roughly the same shape. I think that's make it much easier to put it on the bike. Also on the bike itself, I've put down this I've put down some of this foamy stuff all over the show just to protect the frame a little bit while I'm playing. Okay, so now we are putting on the heat shield. I'm just putting it on strips because that's how I could buy it. Okay, just enough. Just enough. I think that looks okay.